Hi YouTube, my name is Karen. I'm a comic convention crafter and vendor for my business, So Endearing, and this is a convention vlog. Alright, so I am finally at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. I always forget how much I really don't care to fly, but it is what it is. I am in the way back in booth P18. You can see, like, I'm in the corner in the way back. Everything is back behind me, but that's okay. This is really just an experiment. I looked ridiculous trying to juggle all three of these suitcases, but we're here now, and I don't have to move them again until Monday or Sunday. Good morning. It is Galaxycon Day 0. We're here in the convention center. It is just before noon, which means they're about to finally close the loading dock, so hopefully it'll warm up a little bit in here because it is cold. There's still a lot of empty booths. Both full-sized and Artist Alley, though Artist Alley usually doesn't fill up until right before the show opens because some of them have such quick setups. It felt a little silly being here a day early to set up when there's honestly so little for me to set up, but I wasn't lugging those suitcases around anymore. No. Hopefully, I will see some more people that I know, make some new vendor friends. I'm seeing, there's at least 2 other crochet booths that I know of, but there's a lot of booths and they're expecting a lot of people this year. Last year when I came to this convention, I didn't really wander around much. I had my boyfriend with me and it was the first con that he had been to. And I didn't have my stuff quite as streamlined as it is today, so I wasn't very comfortable and he wasn't very comfortable with leaving him alone at the booth for long periods of time. I think if he had come with me this year, I would get more of an opportunity to check out the offerings here at the show. Honestly, they've completely changed up the layout this year. Celebrities are in a different spot altogether, I'm pretty sure, unless I am just like fully confused. All right, so we've got the booth layout. Of course, we have my little mini shelf of plushies. Got all of the main characters. I did not make anything new for this show. Anything new that I've made was not gonna fit in my suitcases. Of course, we got a spot for mini octos. We got my sticker sheets. That's my new sticker sheet. It's the macaron cats, but in 6 colors now instead. Oh, well, there goes Gur. Got my socials. Got my emotional support ribbon. Got a new mystery pack, which is the scrunchies that I used to do. I just don't have room for them anymore in my booth, so we're doing some mystery packs to see how those go over. Got my sticker books and notebook. Got my stickers. Here's all the tumblers I've done. Of course, I've got Choco Cat, Cinnamon Roll, and Melody. No, not Cinnamon Roll. Cure Me and My Melody. I really like how that design came out. Got my other guys, Nezuko, Gur. Then I've got a miniaturized version of my sticker display. This is absolutely the maximum amount of... A miniaturized version of my earring display. It's the max amount of earrings that I could possibly fit on a little 4x1 grid. And then I've got my 4 most commonly bought tote bags. And then we've got gummy worms on this side. I needed to give them a little bit of separation just because they are more expensive. And then my keychains. I've started putting them in these little silver pouches. I've just had them sitting around forever because I had bought them originally for one thing and they ended up not being big enough. I think it was to put like when people buy a single pair of earrings, but they just aren't quite big enough for that purpose. So I finally found a use for them. It makes the keychains a little more noticeable, I feel like. So hopefully people actually buy some of those this weekend. This is what the back of my booth looks like. It is very minimal, very neat and organized. We've got keychains, stickers, notebooks, my tote bags all on this side. We've got packing supplies. We've got the bags up there, bags down here, snacks, straws, extra ribbons, and business cards. Then we've got a selection of cups handy, and as people buy them, I can refill this part. Just got 3 of each. And then I've got plushies in this suitcase down here. And I've got the remaining tumblers in this suitcase down here. Everything's nice and accessible. Okay, so we are about an hour and a half into day 1. Hi.
Card.
Yes, I do. I've gotten back here.
I'm currently making my rounds. I've already gone over my budget for today, so I'm trying to get cards for my budget for tomorrow because I need to come back for the girl stickers. I need to come back for the Mothman stickers.
Well, thank you. You too. it took probably about 45 minutes for anybody to make their way back to this quarter of the room. However, it is quite busy. There's lots of people walking by, and it's only Friday. I remember Saturday last year was absolutely nuts here. So I think I'm in an aisle with better traffic flow than the one I was in last year, which is also a really good sign. I made a few sales so far, which, I mean, you know, Fridays, most people are just scoping things out. So, like, I'm happy to make sales in the first hour no matter what. And hopefully we can at least make back table today, because that'll take some of the pressure off the rest of the weekend as far as expectations go. Okay, so it is 6:53 on day one. I have hit my low goal of clearing the table fee. So I'm very happy with that. At one point, it kind of felt like that wasn't going to happen, but we caught up. We're past that, so now we're just got to worry about the hotel. Now, of course, if I hadn't used points, I would also be worried about my flight cost and like baggage and stuff like that. But thankfully, I don't have to worry about that. So that helps keep the cost down for this little experiment of mine. We've been some really cool cosplays, some very nice people.
I don't really have anything.
I think in this next hour, there's probably not going to be a whole lot going on. The crowd is definitely thinned a little bit. Just like last year, there was more people today than I expected, especially being way in the back over here. But then also, I have to remind myself that this show floor is not as crazy huge as some of the shows I've been doing. It's definitely bigger than like NecoCon, but it is smaller than things like Otakon, of course, SuperCon, Galaxycon in Raleigh. The show floor is a lot bigger, so they don't have to travel quite as far as they would say at Otakon. So it doesn't take folks as long to get back here. I think this morning it was probably, or this afternoon it was probably about 30 full minutes before we saw anybody with a guest badge. But that's not too bad all considered. I'm hoping that tomorrow I will do at least double what I did today, hopefully even more than that, but we will see. I'm not going to hold my breath. I really do like this convention center though. I'll show you when I go get something to eat after, but it's very sprawling and everything's connected, and I really do enjoy it. And if it weren't so far away, I'd love to do more conventions at this center just because of how it's set up. I'll show you. I love the layout of this convention center. I know last year after the show, there were quite a few people who had some pretty big gripes with the convention center, but I think it was more of a staff issue than anything. People were not happy with the convention center staff last year. I personally never had an issue, but you know, everybody's experience can be unique. And so I don't doubt that they had shitty experiences. However, this convention center is so cool. So I did a walk back, what it's like walking back to my hotel. And so when you come out of the convention hall, the main exhibitor hall, there is multiple restaurants. There's like a coffee shop, a burger place, one that's like, I guess implied farm to table. And when you keep going, you pass, there's like a little marketplace that has really good sandwiches out in front of the Hilton. And then there's a Starbucks. And then you keep going and there's this like food court. And there's a couple of gift shops. There's one that's got like sweets. There's one that's mostly just like novelty gifts and then like things you might need on a trip that you forgot at home. And then there's the whole food court, and they have like legit restaurants. There's Greek, Indian. There's a chicken and eggs place that I think we wanted to try last year. I don't know if we ever got to try it. I do intend to have it this year. There's a Jet's Pizza. There's a Charlie's. There's a Chinese place. And then you walk out of the food court, and there's more hotels that are attached. And then you go on like a breezeway that goes across the road, which connects to the Sonesta, which is where I'm staying at. And I'm staying at this one because it was like 30% cheaper than the other hotels attached to the convention center. And I figure last year I stayed outside of the main downtown area. But like when we did the math on it, had I just stayed here and not had to pay for the extra parking and gas and stuff, it would have cost the same. So this year, I'm staying on site. And I don't think I even looked at the Sonesta last year, so. Oh. And this hotel's alright. It's nothing fancy, but the beds are super comfy. And when I booked the hotel, apparently I booked it for some sort of package that came with like a $10 credit for the little convenience store downstairs. Or there's a restaurant in the lobby, but I've been using it. I used it this morning to get some snacks to get me through today. And that's probably what I'll do again tomorrow. And I got some complimentary water bottles. And I mean, there was an issue with my heat last night though. So I was running at eating dinner. I was like, this feels like it's blowing icy air. So I was playing with the settings and stuff. I called down to the front desk. I was like, is there something I need to, like, did I hit the wrong button or something? Because it is blowing ice cold air. Finally, I had to go down there in person about 40 minutes later, but they set maintenance up. And maintenance, he played with it and played with it and played with it. Couldn't get it to work either. He goes, I'm just going to replace the whole thing. And then him and a lady came in here and they ripped the whole thing out and replaced it in like 20 minutes flat. It was impressive. And now it's nice and toasty warm in here. I may have overcompensated a little bit. I'm pretty sure I woke up in the middle of the night too hot, but that's okay. I'd rather be hot than freezing cold because I was in here fully dressed with my jacket under the blankets and I was still cold. It's like 18 degrees outside. So onto the convention. So it's the end of day one. I beat my modest goal of 411, which covers the table. I actually did about 640, which is great. That covers the table and almost 2 nights of staying in the hotel. Honestly, I think that's as much as I did in sales last year on Friday when I had a bigger booth and I was in the main exhibitor area. So I can't be mad at that. So now I've just got to cover a couple more nights of hotel. And then the theoretical flight cost to know whether this can be a profitable sort of thing. This show is just kind of an experiment for me. I know I've said that. But I'd really like to do like AX in Los Angeles and maybe C2E2, New York Comic Con. But I don't want to drive to those, especially if I end up going by myself. I don't always go alone, but when I do, I try and keep my drives much shorter
because it's a lot more manageable, because driving is exhausting. But yeah, so far I'm feeling really good about things. We'll see how tomorrow goes. It was a lot busier than I expected, but I feel like I had that same thought last year. I think the table behind me, they were saying that this show has exceeded the number of attendance that Richmond gets, which was previously their second biggest show. So it sounds like maybe this one is taking over as their second biggest show. Of course, it's going to be hard to get anywhere that beats Raleigh, because Raleigh is so well established and it's been around forever. But beyond Raleigh, that's pretty cool. And I know December is a hard month to do shows, unless you're doing something like a holiday matsuri. It can be really hit or miss. A lot of people say just do Christmas markets. But honestly, where I'm at, there's not great Christmas market options. They just don't get the traffic flow. And the few that there are in November, which November is a busy month for conventions still. So I just, in the future, assuming next year, I may not sign up for anything in December. So I'll just take the month off and use it to like build stock for the spring, because spring is going to be really busy. I'm gonna eat my dinner now, though, and I'll see you guys in the morning.
I'm going to keep this quick because the show floor is open. It is Galaxycon Columbus Day 2. I had a sale in the first 5 minutes to an attendee, so it's already starting off to be a good day. Hopefully we meet our goals. Our goals is to cover the rest of my expenses today if I had to pay for a flight. And so that, I believe, is another $650 in sales. And then I will be a happy camper. I think that should be totally doable, considering that's what I did yesterday in sales. I'll update you throughout the day. It is 12:30. It is 12:30 on Saturday. Okay, it is 12:30 on Saturday. The day started off strong. I sold Charizard in the first 15 minutes of the day. The convention. Hi, how are you? I'm good. There are a lot of people here. It is quite busy. I've taken some footage of the people passing by. It definitely ebbs and flows, but if you look down towards the main exhibitors, it is packed. I was looking at the numbers from last year because I couldn't remember off the top of my head. And yesterday I beat last year's sales by about $40, $30, which is awesome. Today, the bar to meet for beating last year is $1,016. Honestly, my low goal, though, is just to do what I did yesterday at $640. But if I could beat last year's sales, that would be my reach goal. I am in a smaller booth with fewer items this year, so we will see how that goes. But yeah, pretty happy so far. I'm a little over a third of a way to my low goal, and it's only 12:30. The show goes till 8 today. So I am feeling pretty good about things right now. All right, checking in. It is now 8 o'clock on day 2 of Galaxycon Columbus. I fell $8 short of my high goal for today, which was to outdo last year's numbers with $10,017. And I ended at, not $10,000, $1,017. Oh my God, 10,000. I couldn't even imagine. But I did $1,009 in sales today. I'm a little disappointed because I've been sitting at $8 short for the last hour. I was really hoping that I would get one more sale, and it's just been absolutely dead. I think the costume contest was going on, and that really just cleared things out in here. But I'm kind of waiting for the last of the stragglers to clear out of my area and the other booths to start closing down. Because I don't want to leave my stuff vulnerable with the handful of attendees that are still in here. I'd like for the aisle to clear out some. Then I'm going to go get dinner and head back to the room. And that is the end of day 2. Good morning, everyone. It is day 3 of Galaxycon Columbus. We are here a little bit early. I want to go look around some more, see if I can do a little bit of shopping now that my costs are covered. I don't really have much room to buy anything, but I do like to shop and just visit with people and see what else is out there. Yesterday was a decent day. I did about the same as last year, which is fine considering my costs are down. This has been an interesting experience flying out here and doing a smaller table, because even though I flew and I didn't pay for the ticket this time, I used miles. However, even if I had paid for the ticket, my cost would still be lower than having a 10 by 10 booth. So if I can do that and have the same number of sales, then that's really, really good to know. And I'll have to keep that in mind for future shows that I sign up for. It is a little past 8:30. And the show starts at 10 today. It runs from 10 to 6. And then we will be packing up and dragging everything the bajillion steps over to my hotel on the other end of the convention center. That will be fun. I think I'm going to break it into 2 trips just because it's a lot just trying to move those suitcases from the parking deck to the check-in desk at the airport. So we'll see how gung-ho I'm feeling about that come the end of the day. Good morning. It is now Monday. I didn't follow up yesterday evening. I was so tired. It's like even though you're sitting there doing nothing, it feels like for much of the day, for whatever reason, conventions are just so exhausting sometimes. So I just thought I'd come in at the moment and tell you about how Sunday went. I have my report right here. So last year on Sunday, I did $477 in sales. So my goal yesterday was just to beat last year's Sunday, which I did. I beat it by about was $89. So I had $566 in sales yesterday, which exceeded my goals and expectations. So overall for this show compared to last year, I'm up $98 in sales. No, it's $108 in sales, I believe. And, so I'm really happy with that because, like I've said, this show was kind of an experiment, to see how I could do downsizing to a 6-foot table with all of the changes that I've made in the last year. I've not done a 6-foot table since Animate last January, and since then what I sell has largely changed. The earrings have remained a constant, but everything else is different now. And so I wanted to see if I could revisit an old show, fly there with only what could fit in suitcases and still turn a profit. And especially because I used miles for this flight, I have definitely turned a profit for this show. I knew this show wasn't going to blow me out of the water. It wasn't going to be the most profitable show known to man because I'd done it last year. Though everybody was much happier this year at the end of the show than everybody was last year. Last year, a lot of people were in the hole. People weren't spending as much. So it was a really tough place to be. A lot of people didn't come back this year. But the general attitude of everybody I spoke with on Sunday was really positive. So I think overall this year, this show was better for people. So going forward, I think that a lot of shows that I'm applying to, I'm going to be reducing down to just a 6-foot table because loadout was so much easier. I didn't have to deal with the trailer. I didn't have to deal with the line getting into the loading dock. And I was able to just throw everything back in the suitcases and go. And I was back in my room and headed to dinner in under an hour. So that was awesome. I think doing the 6-foot tables, even if I'm driving, and just being able to wheel everything in a few suitcases is going to be the way to go for sure. Just for my own sanity, I think, especially when there was 2 of us, it was more manageable trying to upscale and do a 10x10. But when I'm doing a lot of these shows on my own, it's just not very doable. And I've been chasing my tail, trying really hard to turn things around to make it to where this can be a profitable endeavor for me. And I think I have managed to do that. But I'd like to take a step back and barring a few larger shows, Galaxycon, SuperCon, Anime Inc., Winston Pride, Greensboro Pride, things like that. Barring those big money-making shows, I'm going to be cutting way back on the number of shows that I do and also the amount of space that I am reserving. Partly because I feel like if I can still generate similar sales with a smaller space, that reduces my overhead, so that increases the profits. And even if my sales take a small hit from what they would if I had a larger space, a lot of the time having a full vendor booth can cost 3 times what it does to get just a 6-foot table. And so unless I'm doing 3 times the sales, that profit margin's just not the same. And I'm tired of feeling behind all the time. My calendar, I think, is pretty well set through the summer next year. All the way through July, certainly. I have recently found out that video game convention, the video game tattoo convention that I did back in June this year, that I did so well at, it's not happening next year, which I'm sad about. But that's fine because that'll allow me to just put all my energy into the summer, because I do have 3 very large shows confirmed for the summer, and I am going to try and apply for just an artist alley table at Otakon. We'll see if I get pulled from the lottery again. I don't feel like I'll be that lucky 2 years in a row, but we'll see. And so I'm going to, after my March shows are done, I'm going to spend most of the spring just prepping for Winston Pride, SuperCon, and Galaxycon Raleigh, and then potentially Otakon as well. So it will be a lower key spring, and I'm looking forward to that because I think I do need a little bit of a break. I've kind of burned myself out trying to catch back up. I think I'm going to end this year at the very least in the black, if not super profitable. I won't be in the hole either, which is nice.
My final sales total for this show was $22.13. I was pleasantly surprised to beat last year's numbers. I spent $716 on my hotel and $411 on the table, meaning my final take-home was $1,086, not accounting for the cost of materials. I feel like this show was a valuable lesson. I have proven that I am able to bring enough stuff to turn a profit, even if I'm flying, despite the fact that the plushies themselves take up so much space. And I'm really glad that I did it for this show because I did know people here, and I was familiar with the convention and the convention center. So I will take this lesson and I will apply it. I will definitely be looking into some of the bucket list shows that require flying for me for next year and in the years to come. And I'm really looking forward to 2025 and what I have planned. I just want to thank everybody who watches me here on YouTube and for the support I get over on Instagram. If you're new here and want to give me a follow, like, and subscribe, check out my other social media pages. Thank you all so much for a great 2024, and I can't wait to see you all next year.